up. Some big events coming, but first let's talk about the blog tour.
Okay. Blog tour is with Partners in Crime Tours, and it is for the month of August. And so they've set me up with 15 bloggers who either put me on a showcase at their blog, and so they each have their own followers for their tour, and they reviewed this. And so since this is book two, we sent the ebook of book one to them as well as the book two, so they had an opportunity to read both. Some of these actually reviewed Watergrave before, and so this is their second book in that.
And so they review them in the blog, the book.
Yes, to their followers, they review my book, recommend it or don't recommend it, what was good about it, give a kind of a summary and highlights of what they liked or disliked. So far, it's been great.
Great. What kind of feedback are you getting so far from this book?
Um, Funny because some people that I've gotten feedback for, they like the book. Some liked book one better. Some like book two better. So it's been a kind of a mix because it's a different dynamic. I spent a lot of time setting up the partnership between Abby and Sam in book one, and it's a little bit less of that, a little bit more of Abby kind of on her own in book two, because something happens to Sam, and he comes out of the picture for a little while. So some people like that. Some people wanted to see more of him. Uh, it's just a mix, but that's part of what happens in a series.
All right. Well, and that's nice because you have a situation where you're getting you're getting the feedback to when you're writing book four, book five, based on what
Yeah,
what people
and
are
the consistent feedback is they're buying into Abby. They want to see her grow. They're struggling with her, and that's what I wanted to see happen.
right, exactly. And what do you think, Abby, when you think about things without giving things away? Is Abby torn about this book, especially with what's happening around her?
Oh yeah, a lot of her backstory is coming too, and of course, each of these first six books, they're a mystery in themselves, but each mystery triggers something in her past that comes rushing forward. These are things that for the last 10 years, she's been able to suppress and keep locked down, but now it's just spewing up bits and pieces at a time. So, book two really hits that PTSD hard, and she's, having to deal with a lot of that. So, you see a lot of her background coming up in this one.
Okay. All right, let's talk about this weekend coming up. You're excited.
Yeah, it's next weekend. That's
Next
the
weekend.
Killer Nashville conference. It's a 4-day conference, and it's actually here, right by about a mile or two from my house. So I was invited to be on a panel, and then turns out that they invited me to be on two more. So I get to sit with other people, and one of those is a New York Times bestseller. So I'm kind of nervous sitting next to him and what I'm going to say, but it's about developing series characters. That's the first one. Character story arcs, and then the third one is the art of the red herring, which in a mystery, that's everything, trying to lure them away from the actual truth and who the killer is until you reveal it at the end.
And it's interesting you being a Christian book on a panel with people that aren't Christians writing killer
Right, right.
murder mystery, right?
So I'll have that different perspective as it goes, but it'll be opportunity for me to learn as well as to share whatever insights I have.
Right. And so how many authors are on the panel?
Five on each.
Five on each. Okay,
Yeah,
great.
I'm one of five on each of those.
Is it just authors that are at the Killer Nashville conference?
Yeah, this is four authors of mysteries.
Interesting. But interesting. And a lot of them want to be in a movie, have their book as a movie, right?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. So that'll be a
Exactly.
nice thing to have to go in there with that. One of the conferences that I'm attending is the logistics of homicide and all the forensics. And so they have a forensic specialist coming in, and that's a 3-hour conference. And so I'm going to that one to learn all of the ins and outs of that as well.
That's fantastic. Any other interesting updates, Mitchell, happening?
Yeah, book three, I talked about that before, but I got the feedback from the officers, and so it's turned out to be major revisions because I had her doing things that they would not do that are against policy. She would have gotten fired for, she would have, all these things. And so that plus the point where it's a serial killer, and so FBI would have come in as least as consultants. So I'm having to tweak a lot, revise a lot, rewrite, entire chapters. But I think it's going to be much, much better. Book three, the cleansing.
Interesting. And you're gearing up, aren't you, for that?
Oh yeah,
Exactly.
because that comes
Exactly.
out in January.
And is that have anything to do with what happens at the end of book two or not? Or you can read these
Yeah,
standalone.
book two, you get a kind of a cliffhanger right there at the end, and so it connects directly to this one.
And then book four begins, right? Because you got the
Yeah, and
feedback.
then book two, three, and four are time frame like the day after, the day after, the day after. So that's a consecutive time span, whereas the other ones have jumped about 6 months or a year and a half. Or
Interesting. And you're looking at those different things like different types of storylines. Are you looking more and more in the way you're writing it more like a screenplay in a way, or trying to
well,
really
that's always been the way I see them. They come to me almost like a video or a movie, and I try to describe it as best I can, and then work in the intricacies of a mystery, kind of working backwards into the clues.
all right. Well, fantastic. Best place to go is Mitchell S. Carnes author.com. Appreciate it, Mitchell. Thanks
All
again.
right.